At times we laugh, at times we cry. When all things fall, you lift us high. When we can't see beyond the trials, you tell us we were born to thrive. Oh, we're born to thrive. Oh, we're born to thrive. Oh, we're born to thrive. You tell us that we were born to thrive.
Hi, I'm Kai Porter. I'm 19 years old. I just graduated this last year.
Well, welcome to Born to Thrive. Again, this month, brand new year. We're starting it out just talking to our young people that are influencer, as our last guest said last week, influencers, and that are hearing from God. And I kind of want to read Acts chapter 2, 17. It says, "In the last days, God says, I will pour out my spirit upon all people. Your sons and your daughters will prophesy. Your old men will dream dreams, and your young men will see visions. In those days, I will pour out my spirit, even on my servants, men and women alike, and they will prophesy." And so we see that God himself is speaking to young people. So we are here just to learn. We're here because we know that God's hand is on your life, and I've seen him at church, and I've just witnessed his testimony, just being a young man of God. And I think I'd like for you to just share a little bit about how you knew that God was moving you from what you planned to do after graduation into something new. So.
Yeah, I know, of course. It was I kind of always knew that God had something else for me. It was always like, it was kind of just like, I just wanted to do it because like, I was good at math, I was, good at physics. I was like, I might as well like go be an aerospace engineer. I'm gonna go to college, do the whole college thing. But I was always like, I feel like God had something else for me. And so I wasn't like super like, I guess, urgent on like getting on top of the whole college thing. But I was just at camp, and like the whole camp experience is always really good. God speaking, you're just away with Jesus for a few days, and that's all you do. So it's like, But anyways, so I was just on the back home. I was on the way back home on the bus, and I was just like worshiping kind of like by myself. And I just felt like God say like, you're not supposed to go to college. So I was like, okay, like that's fine. And then I was like just praying for like probably like 2 or 3 minutes. I was like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, what do you have for me? And he said the Send originally, which is just the missions organization.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what does that mean? Because the Send is massive. Like, what am I supposed to do in terms of that? And so, I was just praying into that. And then I ended up meeting with this guy's name is Hunter, but he's over like the Kansas City stuff for the Send. Yeah. And so I met with him, and I was like, well, what could that look like for me? He gave me a few ideas on like what I could do in terms of that, but he never really like, I guess, he didn't say anything that like, I was like, oh yeah, that's what I'm supposed to do, And so I was like kind of praying about it. And then he had mentioned like YWAM, which I was like, oh, that's like cool. Like YWAM's cool. And then I was like, I don't know if that's what I'm supposed to do though. But anyways, I was kind of praying into that, just that whole thing. And then it was actually like my mom was like, have you ever like thought about doing YWAM and stuff? And I was like, yeah, like, I mean, like he had mentioned that, and I was like, that sounds like cool. But I don't know, I kind of just like, over my head type thing. I was like, but I started praying into that, and then I was like, I feel like I'm supposed to go to Kona, like Hawaii, for mine. And I was like, okay, but there's still like programs, like which GTS am I supposed to do? And then I talked to Hunter. I was like, I feel like I'm supposed to go to Kona, but I also feel like I'm supposed to be kind of a part of the Send and stuff. And which is really cool because that base is actually started by Andy Bird.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it's pretty cool. And I didn't know that actually, like when I decided on that.
Yeah.
So that was just like a cool like God moment.
God moment.
Yeah.
Build your faith that you're hearing God clearly.
Yeah.
I love you continue to say over and over, I pray, I pray.
I noticed
you got quiet and you sought the Lord. And another thing that I love and I think is important for all of us is being specific. Like, okay, you said this, but what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like digging down to really hear the heart of God specifically. He says he orders our footsteps,
Yes.
right? That's specific
Yes.
steps. So I
Yes.
love that. What wisdom in such a young man.
I know.
Thank you.
So tell me what are you envisioning, out there on the mission field for yourself? Do you see it, or is it mystery? Because most of the times everything I do is mystery. Like I don't know what I'm doing. I just follow where he leads. But I wonder if you feel differently, or how do you feel about that? Do you have a certain passion for anything?
So I'm going to YWAM in Kona, Hawaii, which is just a missions and discipleship training school. And so I'm going to do that just to be with Jesus, to grow more in my relationship with Jesus. And also I have like a heart for people, third world nations, such things like that. So I'm just going to do that, going to help some people, going to grow with myself as well. Yeah, so I mean, I don't really know in terms of like after I go do the DTS, like what I'm gonna do. It's kind of just gonna be like a whole kind of figuring, just trusting God.
Yeah.
Because like I don't know, like he hasn't said anything specific.
Yeah.
But I do know like I'm going there just to be with Jesus. And that's like, I'm going there to grow with myself.
My heart is so full right now. Because listen to what he's saying. So he's saying he's going to be with Jesus.
Yes.
And is there anything greater in this life but to have a passion to just be with Jesus?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is really what it's all about. Like, that is our purpose.
Yeah. And when we fall in love with him, our purpose comes out of that. And that's how you started this talk, was you went away. You purposed a time away with the Lord to seek him.
Yeah.
And I think that's huge. That's something we need.
We do.
We have so much going on in our world. Yeah. And as, our last wonderful, powerful woman of God spoke, like there's a lot of things going on with the youth that you guys are dealing with. And for you to recognize the importance of taking a time away with the Lord is something that we as the body of Christ can hear and recognize the benefit of that.
Yeah.
What do you think is the thing that the church needs to learn about, like young people, so that we can reach them? What would you say?
I think that more real things need to be talked about from a platform.
Oh, that's good. Please keep it up. Tell me what you mean.
So I mean, like, in reality, like, just Gen Z is the generation that struggles with suicide, depression, and anxiety the most out of any generation ever. And so the fact that it's not really talked about that much, like from a platform, like every now and then, like you'll hear like, oh, if you're struggling with this, like, I'm gonna get prayed for, but it's not really talked about. And like, well, what does God look like in that?
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just like, God can literally like take that away. Like that doesn't have to be a part of who a person is.
Yeah.
Like that can still be something that you struggle with.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be something that's like plaguing your mind or like, putting up a barrier between you and God. Like anxiety can be gone. Like that doesn't have to be a thing. Like depression can be gone. Yeah. Suicidal thoughts can be gone. Like that doesn't have to be a part of you.
So you feel like the church is missing it in the fact that we are not addressing real issues that young people are facing today. And I agree with that, by the way. I totally do. Let me ask you this too. Tell me about, like, one of the things that you're saying, and then Alyssa, our last guest, said last week, is you talk a lot about your prayer life. Like, tell me, like, how did you learn to just have this relationship with Jesus that's more than just like book knowledge,
For me, from a young age, it was honestly kind of just like God talked to me. So like, I know that's like not necessarily normal.
I want to hear about it.
It was very like kind of easy. Like it was just like God would just talk to me and then I would just like hear him. But like it was at first like I was like, oh, like I have to read my Bible, like. But I was kind of like have been trying to figure that out for a long time. Just like, how do I connect with God on a personal level? Like every time I do that, like I don't want to go into and just be like, oh, I read my Bible today. Like I want to go in and be like, oh, I learned something, like God's growing me in this area. Like he's speaking to me in this area. Like I want to grow in that.
So you feel like that was just something that's been in you since childhood. Yeah. I can relate to that because that's kind of my testimony too. It's very similar to that. Like God used to speak to me a lot as a kid. So I feel like if you had like a message, anything else that you feel, because we're here as learners, we are learning from you right now. Like I feel like, you know, what you're sharing, what Lissa shared last week, is a message that we all need to hear. One of the things that you are saying that I feel like we're missing is you're just following the leading of the Lord. Yeah. And how many times do we, you know, in adults, in churches, do we not? We have our own ideas of how things could go, but like how many of us would step out in faith and just say, okay, I'm going to go this direction, you know? Yeah. Do you think that that's the main thing that you see that we need to know? Or
I just think that if you put your trust in God, then everything else kind of falls into place. But like, it's not easy. Like, it's not like, I feel like people kind of say like, oh, just trust God. Like, just trust God. But like, what does that really mean? What does that look like? How do you do that? And so it's like, it's an everyday, like, no, I give this to God. Like, I give my thoughts to God every day. I'm going to give what I do to God every day. Even like the little things like, oh, should I like go hang out with this friend? Like, God, should I do that? Like, is that okay? Like,
thriving to me, is like, I don't know. There's no other answer besides like just letting Holy Spirit be in you and just like trusting Jesus in that, because I don't know, I lived like kind of a half in, half out type thing. And so like knowing what that is and knowing what being really full all in really means is like so much more, like it's not even close. So thriving to me is for sure just trusting Holy Spirit with everything, like every part of you, everything that you think about, everything that you are, everything that you do, just letting God be a part of that.
It's in the little things, like just really asking God about everything, trusting Him in everything. It's like if you can walk in that, then everything like kind of falls into place.
So it's the little things, it's the everyday things.
The little things matter a lot.
Yeah, matter a lot.
And so I also hear you saying practical steps. That is, would I be accurate in saying that your generation needs us to disciple you guys in a better way of practically being involved and helping you see what does it look like to walk in faith? What, when you say, okay, you're dealing with anxiety, well, you know, just cast all your care on the Lord. Do I hear you accurately, like really walking with you guys to help you practically?
Yeah, no. I feel like Gen Z thinks we can do a lot of things on our own. Like we're like super independent, which isn't necessarily bad, but it's like sometimes that gets in the way of like letting other people help.
Oh, okay.
So like, I don't know, for me, I was like, I used to just think like, oh, I can just do this on my own. Like whatever I'm struggling with, oh, I can just like get over it on my own. But like, I like when I actually had people that would speak into my life, like my parents or just mentors I had, that actually like took time to speak in my life and like just talk with me. Like that is what really helped me a lot in terms of like kind of just coming back to Jesus in a more powerful, like having a real relationship.
Wow. So parents could just like, and obviously we love your dad. You know, he's Quan Porter is his dad. We love your mom. She's amazing too, like the power couple we call them. And so you know, so is it just like having a voice, like being able, because as a counselor, that's what I see is that, you know, people need to be heard and not dismissed. So do you feel like that's the key? Or
yeah, one of the bigger things for me was like having people that actually listen to me, and like even if like what I was feeling might have been like, you know, just not necessarily right, but I will still listen to, and that I still like was able to talk about it, and like, and that in itself like just helped me understand that what I was talking about or like how I was feeling was not necessarily right. It wasn't necessarily biblical.
Yeah.
So.
Oh,
awesome.
Wow. This has been so good. Well, I tell you what, we are blessed just to have you. We want to support you in your missions. And so we'll have information for our viewers if anyone would like to support Kai on his missions journey. We'll put that information out for you so that you can see that and support him. But we love you. We support you. We're so thankful for your voice, and we believe that it is so powerful and is so needed in this hour. So, all right. Well, thank you so much, and we will see you again next week. Your tax-deductible donation to Building Bridges Ministries will be used to support this program. To find out more about how you can be a part of sending the gospel through Building Bridges, please contact us at buildingbridgeskc.org. This program is brought to you by Building Bridges Ministries and faithful friends like you.